evaluate the relevance of Theosophical Society with reference to future of humanity, it is extremely important to understand what is Theosophical Society and on which foundation this organization stands. Now, the structure of the Theosophical Society has a deep and strong foundation. We all know that the durability of a building primarily depends on its foundation. Deeper the foundation, stronger is the building. Similarly, institutions become widespread and strong depending upon where its foundation lies. We have examples of many such institutions which, after the demise of its founder, has not only survived for centuries, but also has spread all over the world. One such organization is Ramakrishna Mission, whose foundation was laid by Swami Vivekananda, inspired by the spiritual strength of Ramakrishna Paramhans. We all know how widespread is the influence of this organization all over India. Now, coming to Theosophical Society, pervasiveness of this organization and its worldwide influence reflect how deep and strong are the roots on which this magnificent structure of the society has been established. It is very essential to understand as to what is the foundation on which the society has been standing. For this, we must focus our attention to its motto, because it is the motto which provides direction to any institution. The motto, as we all know, of this society is Satyan Nasti Parodharma, that is, there is no religion higher than truth. The motto chosen for society was the family motto of Maharaja of Banaras, and it is somewhat the modified form of Mahabharat Shanti Parv, chapter 160, stanza 24. Madame Blavatsky wrote in the Theosophist in September 1880, Theosophical Society is a republic of conscience, a brotherhood of men in search of absolute truth. In the same issue, she wrote, some new faith is now required. It was this conviction which induced the founders of the society to organize for the quest after primitive truth. During early period in India, both Colonel Olcott and HPB were concerned with establishing the role of society, which amounted to breaking down the barriers which the religious dogmas had erected in the domain of truth, while emphasizing on the ideal of brotherhood with distinction. So if we evaluate the role of Theosophical Society with reference to religion and foundation for future of humanity, we see that it will be extremely difficult to find such fearless and wonderful example. Religion as we find today, which is spread all around us, is not the soul of religion. It is merely its body. This is the reason why religion has miserably failed to reduce conflict and violence with which the entire world is afflicted. Whereas religion is supposed to be the guiding factor for the future of humanity. In this context, we find Theosophical Society's motto as fresh air which touches the soul. HPB mentioned about this in her article, A New Faith. Theosophy stands for complete blossoming of human being. It does not speak of any particular religion. It believes in Sarvadharma Samanvaya. We can say it is the body of truth that forms the basis of all religions. It is the foundation of religion and is extremely relevant to the future of humanity. Now let us glance at three objectives of Theosophical Society. The first is to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color. The second, to encourage the study of comparative religion, philosophy, and science. And third, to investigate unexplained laws of nature and powers latent in man. Theosophical Society is the world organization dedicated to the promotion of universal brotherhood. This objective has huge relevance in the context of modern day world, which is torn by hatred, violence, and terror. Practical brotherhood, which reflects evolved state of mind. This is the need of we all have come, we know we all have come from one source, so we all stand interconnected. All of us, high or low, ignorant or wise, make a chain and we grow stronger by helping the weak. Brotherhood is the law of growth for all men. When we try to disconnect, there is discontent, disorder, disharmony, and obviously there is crisis. So we need to bring change in our inner world, which would only lead us to the real understanding of universal brotherhood. Theosophical Society believes firmly that truth should be sought by study, by reflection, and by purity of life. It offers philosophy which renders life intelligible and transparent. But ultimately, one has to delve deep to investigate unexplained laws of nature and powers latent in man. It restores to the world the science of spirit, teaching man to know that the spirit is himself. He is the spirit. He is the man. He is the soul. And the mind and the body are just his servants. It puts death in its rightful place as a recurring incident in an endless life, opening the gateway to a fuller and more radiant existence. It gives hope to mankind that ultimately each life will attain its full potential and regain its divinity. Now the question is, how to attain this? It is $1 million question. Theosophy provides a clear-cut roadmap to the humanity to reach to this goal, this ultimate goal. It endeavors to assist individuals follow self-purification, growth, and evolvement, intellectually, morally, and spiritually. For ushering in this spiritual world, we need complete transformation of mind. When the mind is liberated from preconditions and becomes pure and awakened, we move ahead towards evolvement. It is the transformation in our vision of this world which would ultimately lead us to the spiritual dimensions. For removing impurities of mind, there is a need to provide the mind with wholesome food. Wholesome food means anything that is taken in through senses is free from aversion, hatred, attachment, or delusion. So we should be extremely cautious what input we are feeding to our mind and desist from taking such toxic food. Mind uncontrolled and unguided will drag us down and down forever, rend us, kill us, and mind controlled and guided will save us, free us, and would lead us to an illumined world. For this, we need to bring about a change in the constitution of mind. We have to orient it towards Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna has to predominate other two gunas, that is Rajas and Tamas. But finally, for regaining divinity, one has to even transcend Sattva Guna as well. But first we should move towards Sattva Guna, and gradually we can transcend Sattva Guna also. For attaining an awakened mind, we need a favorable inner climate. That is, keeping our human relations in order, giving mind a healthy and creative occupation, making right use of imagination, and guard against despondency. Those who want to control and purify their minds must not store up ill feelings or grievances, wrong impulses in the mind, as mind is to be used for higher purposes through doing duties sincerely to others and through practice of detachment, forgiveness and humility, love and compassion. We must keep our human relations straight. Mind must be given healthy and creative occupation. It should be fed with high thoughts and noble inspiration. Otherwise, it will drift to low things and become scattered. In its scattered state, the mind cannot be controlled and thus cannot be purified. Deep, deep within is the soul, the essential man, the Atman. When we turn the mind inward and become united with that inner core, and from that standpoint of stability, when we view the world, we find the entire world changed. When we are stationed at our own self, we are in the state of bliss, and the entire universe then becomes extremely beautiful and blissful. Entire secret of attaining an awakened mind has been given by Lord Krishna in Gita in two words, that is by practice and by dispassion. Abhyasena tu vairagyena cha. Having a pure and awakened mind is of immense value as it bestows on us the highest blessing, that is illumined state of being, which would lead humanity to an evolved future. Thank you.
Thank you, Maji. Now, I request Brother Solomon to speak. Brother Solomon, before
Yes, sir, I'm here.
yes, Brother Solomon. He is a member of Gauthwami Lodge, Kakinada, in Andhra Pradesh. He is a very young, I should say, and dynamic, and always he has interaction with me relating the theosophical activities which is going on in different parts of India. He has his own views, we should say, as a young man. He has many opinion to share with us. Interesting student of theosophy. Basically, he's a BTech in civil engineering. He is in the teaching assignment for last 20 years, teaching student of age group of 12 to 17. For last 20 years, he joined Theosophical Society in 2015 in Gauthwami Lodge, Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. His interest is mathematics, philosophy, and literature. I have interaction with him for last 2-3 years. So when we required student, teachers, friends to popularize, disseminate theosophy, the moment I request Solomon to share his thought on this auspicious occasion, he agreed. So over to Solomon to share your view on today's occasion. Solomon.
Thank you,
yes.
sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. The title of the talk is Importance of the Foundation Day for TS members, Theosophical Society members. I will try to be as brief as possible. Let us put aside Foundation Day for a while. I think if the members of the Theosophical Society, or should I say diploma holders of the Theosophical Society, knows the importance of the Theosophical Society for them, then the importance of Foundation Day for them becomes obvious and self-evident. But again, the importance of Theosophical Society to a particular member is individual, and it depends on the personal relationship of the individual with the TS. I would be a third person to tell what should be the importance of Theosophical Society to its members. But I can share what the Theosophical Society means to me and its importance to me by way of giving some reasons for which I have been attracted by the Theosophical Society. And I think this will be relevant because I feel some of these reasons will concur with most of the members of the Theosophical Society. Also, in the conclusion, I shall make a proposal to all the Theosophical members, society members. Before I present my reasons for joining the TS, let me build some context. I feel that all humanity divides into two classes, say class A and class B. Class A are those people who knew, or at least try to know, why they are doing what they are doing, whatever act it is, however big or small. And class B are those people who neither knew nor bothered to know in which train they are traveling. Dr. I.K. Taining articulates so clearly in the preface to Man, God and Universe how sooner or later all people should come to this class A because of their experiences in life. Of course, most of us are like frogs jumping between this class A and class B. When you stay in this more class for a long time, you will also start questioning the fundamental questions of life and existence and probably reach a stage where you want to know that, knowing which there is nothing else to know, as mentioned in the beginning mantras of the Mundaka Upanishad. Nothing matters to such a person except answers to his questions. Then he may be called the seeker. I think the Theosophical Society is for the seekers, and this is what is implied when somebody is required to agree with the three objectives of the Theosophical Society to become a member. I should also mention as a case that my attraction to the Theosophical Society, if not Theosophy, is natural. I must admit that after all these years, I still do not know the exact meaning of the word Theosophy. N. Sriram, one of our ex-presidents, international presidents, argued some 50 years ago back that there is a need to keep the word Theosophy undefined. I also did not belong to the so-called Theosophical family. I am drawn to Theosophical Society by reading the Theosophist magazine for 5-6 years in my early 20s. Then I am drawn to the three objectives. Then I must honestly admit that I didn't even understand the first and third objectives. The only second objective struck me. I wanted to become a member in a local lodge, and I became. Now I will present my 4 reasons for joining the society. Firstly, I perceive that the two core values and purposes of the Theosophical Society are truth and oneness. Of course, oneness directly follows from realizing that ultimate truth, but even though the objectives of the Theosophical Societies are changed 6 times in the initial 2 decades, these two core values so remarkably run through them. They are just expressed in different forms. A good account of how the objectives changed in the first 2 decades is well documented in the book, The Golden Book of Theosophical Society, by one of our ex-presidents, Jinaraja Das. That particular chapter is a must read for every serious member of Theosophical Society. Second reason is Theosophical Society not only speaks of oneness of humanity, but also oneness of methods to know the ultimate truth. And this is captured in second and third objectives. Dr. Taimani, in the same book, argues that there are limitations to so-called science, so-called religion and intellect, and how occult training is necessary to unfold the total picture of reality, taking us back to the ancient esoteric traditions. He says that science alone, reason alone, some set of beliefs alone cannot take us to the whole picture. Actually, it is in this context that the Theosophical Society is born, when reason, in its grand success at the end of the 19th century, claimed that everything in nature can be explained with reason alone. And the founders of Theosophical Society claimed that there are far, far realms which cannot be revealed by reason alone. In that sense, I feel the real work of Theosophical Society is yet to come. The first and second objectives, I think, are in a way fully realized. Tim Boyd says in one of his articles that in the last part of the 19th century, the idea of oneness is totally remote, and that today it is something taken for granted. And we have come to a stage where it is a well accepted idea that science and philosophy and religion should work together to go to the whole truth. But the third objective, which says that we can come to the truth by investigating the latent powers in man, that is what Blavatsky says, by realizing the spiritual intuitions of man, is yet to come, and it is still in seed form. And I seriously think that Theosophical Society should work on this at this time. It has come to that time. And the third reason is the declaration of freedom of thought makes a Theosophical Society perhaps the only colorless platform in the entire world where any seeker of any beliefs at any stage of his spiritual journey can seek truth from anybody and pursue his spiritual journey in any path as he or she likes, bounded by the common desire of knowing ultimate reality. There is no obligation that we should study so-called theosophical literature. If that would happen, then Theosophical Society would again become another sect. The last and fourth reasons, of course, is to meet like-minded truth seekers which may help us on the journey. As I already mentioned in the beginning of the talk, is why I wanted to share my reasons for joining the Theosophical Society as a case. Now I want to conclude this talk with a proposal for action. The proposal that I want to make to every member of the Theosophical Society or diploma holder of the Theosophical Society is that they should reflect on three questions. Foundation day or not. Why did I join Theosophical Society? Is Theosophical Society helping me? How should I make Theosophical Society better? And more importantly, why should I make better? Foundation days or other days are meant to do some reflection or manana about the past and progress of the societies we are part of that may help us to evolve better. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Solomon, for a nice way of presenting your views. Thank you. Now, as there is another 10-15 minutes, I request any members on this auspicious occasion, they can share their views. I welcome any member who like to share his views or her views. They are welcome.
Good evening.
Yes.
This is P. Raghurama Rao, Secretary, Telugu Federation, the Telugu Federation Theosophical Society. I am just in Hyderabad. The Theosophical motto is, there is no religion higher than truth. Where the truth stands, and how about the religions are in pursuit of the truth, and can we have to modify it? All the religions are in eternal search of truth without reaching the truth, eternal search. So there is no religion higher than truth, and we can modify. Can we modify without modifying there in the theosophical motto? Can we modify in our thinking that all religions, including theosophy, are in eternal search of truth? This is my small observation. Can anybody explain?
Well, I would like to say something on this. Hello? Hello?
Yes, you can speak.
Yes, I think here I would like to just put a word that Theosophy is not any religion. As it is not a religion, it is called Sarv Dharma Samanvay. So the religion here, when it is said that there is no religion higher than truth, that it only specifies that truth is the highest point for which we should all strive hard to reach. And through the religion word, though it is mentioned here, but in our mind we should think that truth is the only objective which has to be attained. This is my view on this point.
Thank you.
Can I present my view? Can I present my view?
A little supplement. So we have to attain to reach the truth, but how far the attainment, and are we okay? Theosophy is not a religion. Let us let us accept it. But are all religions are in eternal search of truth? That means always searching for truth, though it is there just near to them, around them, but not looking at them, but they are doing their own things. So is it eternal search of truth without achieving or without reaching, without touching the truth? Thank you.
Sindhe sir, would you like to add something?
Sivji, I wanted to say something.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Achha, this the first object, what we call as realizing the oneness brotherhood. To start with, it is only a mental idea. Now, when a new member comes, we say that you should be selfless. You should try to come into a network of unselfish collection of members and all the things. But still, it is at a mental level only. We have to every time remember that to accommodate others' opinion, we sometimes come together in a meetings or in a collective work. Although those are all fine. But really, dynamically, if we wanted to realize oneness, we should go deeper. We should remember the mission statement which has been added to our objects with a deeper realization. So from a mental idea of oneness, we should move into a dynamic, deeper realization of the oneness. And that should be the practical side of Theosophy. Now, sometimes we say that TOS is a platform for practical Theosophy. Of course, it can be a platform, but the way most of us are tackling is collect the money from somewhere and give it to somebody. You know, in our last TOS meeting, I have expressed this opinion. But how much you are contributing from your own consciousness? Or are you supporting emotionally somebody who is distressed? So there are so many ways of controlling people in TOS. But in TS, the objective of oneness can be achieved through an instrumentation of the self. The self is the one in all. And if you wanted to identify the oneness, you should have at least a part realization of the self. To start with, it is the Purusha Prakriti. If you realize the Purusha apart from your own nature, then you are on the doorway of oneness and move into the self. So I pray that all of us will move deeper and deeper into ourselves to a point where we can meet under one single umbrella dynamically. Thank you.
Thank you. Sindhe sir, now your turn, sir.
Thank you. What Narayanan has asked, that is very important, because our efforts are from mental level. We are trying to realize or cognize the oneness of life. Cognizing oneness of life is at mental level. But discovery of oneness life is something different than the mental level. But first we have to cognize. Before that, we have to be convinced. Really, do we feel oneness of life? Feeling is from the heart and thinking is from the mind and brain complex. So when we are really try to understand this oneness of life, then we must give more importance to our feelings, because feelings, they come from the heart. And once we understand this technique, giving more importance to the feeling than to the thoughts and emotions, then perhaps we can give right direction to our thought, and we can have this quantum jump from cognizing the oneness of life to the discovery of oneness of life. And this discovery is individual discovery that changes the whole, our attitude towards the life. This is what each person should try. And I would like to, in this event of Foundation Day, in the Theosophist, April 1910, pages 975, 978, it is given, science, this is the master's letter, advice from the master. And the master says, science has got in the technology, and this technology word I am using now, science is got now in the technology. And what master says, the truth has been shown to you for your sole advantage. So this truth is disclosed, and it is for the advantage of whole humanity. They have tried to disclose the truth, and therefore they say the truth has been shown to you for your sole advantage. That we have broken the silence of centuries for the profit of the handful of dreamers only. So here again, we need dreamers. We need persons who are having the capacity to imagine, because dream becomes the reality when you try it on a mental level and try to convince yourself first. Right conviction brings to this understanding and discovery. And that is what I think we have to try our best. And I hope it is quite essential to propagate oneness of life, to understand oneness of life at individual level. How can we understand? You may be from science or philosophy or whatever it is. If you see, our whole physical body is formed by the 5 elements. So at physical level, we share these 5 elements, all of us. And at chemical level, we share one chemical pattern. At biological level, we share one life. At social level, we share one humanity, that is the human values. And at spiritual level, we share one intelligence. And that intelligence comes into being when there is harmony within and without. So to bring this harmony within and without, we have to be aware of our thoughts, deeds, and feelings. This is what I want to contribute in this event. Thank you very much, sir.
Lakshmi, she raised her hand. Yes, Lakshmi, can you share your thought?
Namaste to all of you, Pradip sir and Shinde sir and all reverend members. I'm very happy. But one point when Shinde sir was saying, I want to say in a friendly way that oneness is not in a mental level, because mind never perceives the oneness. It is an abstraction to perceive the oneness. And it's in an the intelligence only, when the mind stills, as Krishnamurti ji says, then only oneness can come into our experience. That is, there's no experiencer. And as it is said, that is the target, either theosophy or Krishnamurti's philosophy. Somebody asked in Krishnaji's center that what is the difference between that Theosophy and Krishnamurti's philosophy, I said in a deeper level, both are one, because Theosophy is also saying the same truth in different terminology, whatever Krishnaji said. And to perceive the oneness, mind should become still. And with the mind, we cannot perceive this oneness. When the mind stills, then only it can come into our experience. And oneness it is there inside us, but we are covering, and the identification with the body, identification with the mind, these are all preventing to see that, to perceive the oneness. It is there inside, but we are totally covering with all our ignorant truths. Thank you all.
Thank you. Now I request Mithalini to conclude this session, this auspicious day, with a closing prayer. Mithalini.
Namaste to all. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmang amrutamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu na kasyid dukhavag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you each and everyone for nicely you have spoken on this occasion. Thank you, Umaji. Thank you, Solomon-ji. And thank you for all the participants.
I wish you all a happy Foundation Day.
Same to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay then, bye.